Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Space Institute. We welcome you back as usual. And in the tangle of the knowledge of universe, we get tangled in new things. And now we have come to understand more about ourselves. And for the first time, we realize that the schizophrenic body of the man has shown and shows itself every day to us, but we prefer to ignore it. In that process, it just doesn't come the vision. In that process comes the understanding of the whole process of creation, in how the vision in the cycle of the life we have.
Recording in progress.
Becomes, I have to apologize, there is something in my system. Becomes creation of emotion. In your dreams, you see things, creates emotion, and you show love, you show gratitude, you show anger, you show everything in the dimensions of the visions of your soul. The same as what you do in the physical life. Then the question for you to ask is the emotion of my physical life creator of the emotion in my troubles of my soul? Or what my emotion creates in my dream is dependent totally on what the soul sees. In a way, the soul sees, sends it to the vision of the man, physicality reacts, and then that transfers to what the soul does outside. Or does the soul of the man, in its interaction of his travels at night, has his own emotion? Is not superimposed upon receipt by the physical dimension. There are a few ways you can try. Emotion in your, what you call, travel of your soul, is created by the emotion of your physicality. Or, as we said, I made man in the image of myself. Emotion of the dreams is created by the soul. And this goes back to the teaching past few months that I explained many times. When the emotion of the soul of physicality comes to the emotion of the soul of the man, what they create. Then, for man has to decide for himself that I met my mother in my dream, and there was so much love and affection and in physical life, my emotion to my mother is zero. Then, does this mean that the emotion of the soul is in control of the soul and not in the control of the physicality? And then you ask myself, why is that? When I wake up, why I don't understand my mom, but in my dream, in my soul travel, I hug her, I kiss her, I cuddle her. Then the answer is two ways. You live a deceiving life, or now you understand the two emotions separately. I'm sure this has happened to many of you, and this should have given you the red alert. And then you say, I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I do that when I dreamt. And my emotion is different. We don't explain, we don't tell all our dreams to everyone. The dreams are resolved, understood within the soul and the soul of physicality of the man. There is no interpretation to it. We heard in many stories of the past, the king tried to change the course of the dream. Never happened. The stories of, if it wasn't Moses, we know about his travel down the river. If it's about anybody else, the dream tells us in advance. And thanks to the French language, we justify, again, to deny the existence of the soul and its travels, and we say, oh, I had a déjà vu. I've seen this before. When in fact, even the scientists have said, this is because a few millisecond, the brain doesn't work, there's a disconnection of the nerves. You think you've seen it, but you actually been there. But what about the emotion? I didn't have a disconnection in my emotion. Because we have found every word, every way to deny the existence of soul. Deja vu, I had a dream, this, that. But our vision, our eye, that black hole in the center of all of us, is for the travel of the soul of the man, untainted with the physical dimensions of the other things. If you ever wondered why we all have a hole in the center of our eye, and then the other colors, and it opens up and shuts, Now you understand that's the passage through the soul of the man and not for the physicality of the man. Physicality handles it with a different color of the eye. That hole we seeing over, the light goes through the nerves, understand, is again man trying to be physical. That black hole is the passage of the whole interface between the soul of the man, dimension of physicality, and the dimension of the universal energies, and the dimension of the travel. The porthole of your soul is that black eye, that black point, that black circle in the center of your eye. You can't shut it. Which means the soul is constantly, continuously connected to its universe. You shut that, you call it death. Does not matter. You put sunglasses on, shades on, or whatever. Now you understand how we change the science of our vision with that black hole in the center of it, and we all have that black color. None of us has a different color in that hole in the middle. That's not for the light to just come in. That's for the soul rite of passage. And in coming back, it hits some nerves. You make the image, becomes mom and dad and the dog. This is why sometimes when your soul is on the move, you say, oh, something happened. You know, I had the vision, I had something. I have a deja vu because brain has already registered it weeks before, months before. When you call it deja vu, that's the time of judgment. Why, what did you do that the soul has already been here to see and brought you to it? What is the outcome of that deja vu? Because it's already, whenever you come to words that I've been here, I've seen this, ask yourself a second question. Why my soul has brought me here? He's seen it before. What am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to gain from this? What is the analysis of this? What you made the French word of deja vu. I've been here before. You, yes, with your soul and those who brought you here. This is part of the day of judgment for you. You pass it. What was the reason I've been here? I've seen this accident before. And you say, I'm not going there because I know what's going to happen, because the soul has already been warned, don't come in this. And then you go and do it and it happens. Says, I knew it's going to happen. Because you use the emotion of physicality overriding the emotion of the soul. You pay for it. I knew I shouldn't do this. I had a feeling. Your feeling is your soul trouble already been there, it knows. It gives you a warning as a friend, the way you denied the advice of your father and mother and everybody else and do what you like. This time, you deny the advice of your soul. Now you understand. The whole, that I, the color is your physicality, the whole belongs to your soul. No interference. Just to keep the pressure atmospheric in this cell, in this shell, we call the body of the man. No skin, no interference, no bones. What I explained to you a long time ago in the very first years of teaching, get yourself a stereo headphone that you can adjust it till you cannot hear through your ears, but you hear through your soul in the center of the brain. And then go to sleep. See what visions you get. See how you, with the pinpoint accuracy, can explain where your soul is. In a way, the two radars, which are your ear, have pinpointed the place. By traveling the soul, you confirm its existence. But if you fall asleep with the stereo going perfectly between your two ears, see what dreams you have. How well you'll see into the future of yourself, nobody else. Because now you're aware, I tuned, I know where it is, I want to see how much I can control to be. If you have ever fallen with a perfect stereo in your ear, which in a way, the sound barrier takes away the frequencies and the pulses of the heart and the body, then you will see what dream is. Write your dream, wait for it to come true. Then it says, I'm made man in the image of myself. I do the traveling, I make the things, and the man then comes as my image. Then it comes to you one thing. Why? Most of us dreams of our physical dimensions. Uncle, going to this, going to that. But we don't see so-called so many aliens. Because with the behavior of the man, it's not only the physicality of the man which is locked in this prison of the planet Earth and this village of going nowhere, bunch of crazy people going around the same pool called the Earth. Your soul is locked down too. Because those who earn their position, they leave their position. The rest of you, you have imprisoned the soul of the man, connection to the man, and the dimension of it to a given prison in the space of time. When you turn one atom, the other one turns. And it's not the dice to throw. God plays with dices. And you are the player and the dice. Now you understand the color of the eye is, in a way, a touch, a cosmetic. And in what you absorb through the, what I call the black hole of your life, which is that dot in the middle of your eye. You're all equal. None of you have a different whole color. Because that's the line of the Creator. The change of the color of eyes is for your physical dimension. As we say, the dream of every man, the blue eyes, and the nightmare of every man, the red hair. But we all, red, blue, green, have one black hole. And that black hole on each eye is the passage for our soul. And one day I will teach you which eye is for going out and which eye is for receiving. It is not the traffic jam of all going through one hole. needs understanding. The soul has sorted that out. Who goes into the South Pole and who goes into the North Pole. And sometimes when it interferes in the time of dreaming, it touches something and you kick your wife or you fall off the bed because your soul has received such a powerful energy that something had to bend, and you go into the schizophrenic Parkinson. Have you ever had your child in your arms? Have you ever held your partner in your arms? And when they fall asleep, in the first few seconds and minutes, they move, they shake. That movement and shake, the world of science has no explanation for it, but they say is the body releasing overcharges. What a rubbish. That shake you get is a handover of your soul in taking over the physicality and going into space to travel its dimension. If you speak to a child specialist, they tell you something, they ask you sometimes a question. Does your child go through traumas? You say, yes, I'm afraid of it. If you don't have that, the child is not healthy. If you go to sleep and your partner says you go to sleep smooth, you're going to sleep with guilt. Soul is not accepting anything. Stay with your physical life, you've done enough damage. When you hold your partner, when you hold your child, when a person goes to sleep next to you or you watch it and they go through the, what I call shivers, pulses, fingers and toes, is handover time. I'm going to rest, you take over. And then you understand how we have interpreted the whole thing upside down to suit us because we don't understand we are that shell on the back of the leech. We are leeches of a leech. And our soul learns. Our soul has got the handshake, is the military command. I hand it over to you. Now you take over. I take it for a trip to see the grandma. There's a method of breathing that if you manage to change the heartbeat to the acceptable rate through the understanding of the work of the lymph and the air you breathe, which is the controller of the lymph, you can decide, I'm going to see mom today, I have a problem. You go to mom today, you solve the problem and you come back. Oh, it was so accidental. I was thinking of if my mom was here, she would have given me something. I saw her in my dream and it happened. It's the story of the deja vu. So, next time you stand in the mirror, try to look in that black hole and see what you see in that as your soul. Do you know why it's that size? It's more or less the size of your soul in your brain. It's created the right dimension it can travel through. And if one day man measures the size of that hole with the size of the soul, then it'll give you a lot of information where the problem is with that hole. Have you ever seen a red hair, very small eyes, with a very, very small hole in the middle of it? She's mean. Ask yourself why. This is why the size of the eye and the size of the hole explains a lot about us, who we are, what we expect. And then because it interacts with the emotion of the color of the eye, with the environment and the inertia of the place and what we call conditions, it makes your behavior, your physicality, your way of life is a compromise between the light received by your colored eye and the light received through that hole from your soul. You as a person, you as an entity, you as behavior and talk is the continuous interaction of the emotion of the soul and the soul of physicality, which comes from the color of the eye. Then you understand why certain colors, certain skin, certain position in inertia creates a certain kind of behavior. Because the fields absorbed through that hole are dictated by what goes through it and what we need to go and what we don't need to go. The way you breathe, the way you inhale, the way you exhale, you watch the size of that hole in your breathing. And you know your breathing is connection to your soul. Free energy, oxygen is free. There is no meter in front of your mouth, God charging you for it. When the man eats and he has to pay for the meat. Then you understand why you have to trust your soul, because he has no debts to no one. He has no condition that he has to satisfy anyone. And then you learn gradually, you live by the order of your soul. What you feel becomes the norm, and not what I do will take me to places. Next time you stand in the mirror, ignore the beauty of your eyes. Understand the majesty of the whole, which allows to feed your soul and connect it to the universe. And we all have the same color. Rich, poor, blue eye, green eye, brown eye, and the rest. And unfortunately, does not change color as it changes the book. The guy who was supposed to be the Jesus, born in Middle East with the brown eyes and brown hair, and when he gets to the book and crosses the water, it becomes blue eye and whiter skin, as he went through the same processes we said last week, crossing the Strait of Hormuz, changed the color as they moved. So man's history in religion has done the same, crossing the water, new environment. We haven't changed the color by the faith, we have changed the color by the faith. Then you realize how much lying is within the religion. Then you understand how much manipulation is within the name of religion. And then you understand my religion is my soul. Never lies, never cheats, never does wrong. And it shakes itself off of the wrongdoing of the man when he takes a handover when you go to sleep. I don't want the dirt you got yourself into during the day in your physical life. Wash it out. I take over. And I go to the dreamland or dimension of the world of the creation. When the humanity understands the purpose of his eyes, then he understands what eyes create as emotion. Then they understand why the man is locked to this village of the earth. Then we see we have become bunch of others do the same, will has been keeping us from becoming as part of the others which they have the most of. In the world of creation, emotion is not exclusivity of man, is not exclusivity of his planets and his storms and tantrums and the sun. It's not exclusivity of the sun, is not exclusivity of the center of galaxy, is not exclusivity of the center of the universe, and it's not exclusivity of the universe. On the door of United Nations is the beautiful words from Meridian Poet that it says, human body, humanity is like parts of arms and legs of bani Adam اعضای یکدیگرند, which means we are embodiment of all. And with the knowledge we have, we change bani Adam, which means human, to the creation, which means all created things are the same, not only the man. And that's where it sits, the motto in the dimension of Universal Council, as they represent the universal community and not the humanity. And once we learn this, once we understand the potential of what is waiting for us to become a member of the universal community, and our own daily damage keeps us from it, but our soul still keeps the connection with them. Okay, let him suffer. I have my party when I want. Then mankind will change. Then mankind moves to the next step. Then mankind understands the process of the creation in the dimension of the energy and not in the dimension of physicality. Next time you say, I've been here, is deja vu? Ask yourself one question before you open your mouth. Why have I been brought back here? Why am I put in this position by my soul who's been here? What am I supposed to learn from where I am? And I call it deja vu, I call it a dream. I've seen this in my dream to understand you've been brought up here, there is a reason. Then, when you understand that, that's the day of your judgment for that day. You didn't understand. You've been brought. The soul has seen. Never say, I had a deja vu. Understand, why have I been brought back here by my soul to show me the dimension of physicality where it's been before? Why have I been brought here like a dog on the leash for something that I think I've seen before? Because, yes, you saw it when the soul was coming back as the information of your dream. Now you see the physical dimension and reality of the energy of the same. Never in your life think that you're alone and you do what you like. Think, what do I do with the handover shake when I let him to run and I go to sleep? But like a dog, even closed eyes, I stay alert that it doesn't get hurt, that anybody shouts, anybody touches, anybody makes noise. Physicality jumps, I'm here, and the soul, come back home, I have to take over. Your physical body is that dog sitting outside, looking after the boss. Doesn't matter day or night, doesn't matter awakeness or sleep. Now you understand your physical body is nothing but a guard dog, physically looking after the boss inside. It doesn't just travel during the day, it travels during the night. It travels 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. But the dog is tired and lies down for the rest because it cannot handle the work of the boss, which never stops. Now you understand further about yourself. Now you understand next time when you do good, when you act good, when you think good, you have no fears of the handover. It's a pleasure. We go for a break, and I put that seed in your head for you to understand. And that is, why am I so ignorant of my own existence that what I look at, into, through, and by are always denied? Which my eyes are not only the hole into the wall to see, it's a part where my eyes travels the span of the universe according to my own conduct. We go for a break and we come back. And I hope you enjoy your trip next time when you hand over the dog to become a bodyguard of the soul while it's traveling. You're the dog that lives in the garden when the bus goes out. Then you look after it. When he comes back, you stand up. It's handover time. Take us for a break, Rick. We come back.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. For our break today, I'm going to play the video that we had in our intro. And after our break, there will be an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Kesh. And I'll invite our attendees here in the Zoom that you can raise your virtual hand, and then we can allow your microphone to open. Those in YouTube can put questions in the chat there, and those in the Zoom can also use the chat or the Q&A. Okay, we'll be back shortly.
In a world where value is measured from the outside, we have forgotten the profound wealth that lives within. For too long, the pressure of survival has created a distance between us, leaving the most vulnerable to struggle in silence. But wealth is not found in scarcity or control. True value begins with the human spirit and the knowledge we share. Imagine a moment where every new life is recognized, not as a burden, but as the initial capital of our future peace. At the first breath, a child receives recognition, a foundation for food, medicine, and dignity. No one is left behind. From every corner of the earth, the same recognition is granted. Equality is no longer a dream, it is the protocol. Behind this vision lies a secure, decentralized infrastructure, a blockchain built for service, not speculation. This network is the pulse of a new humanity, low energy, transparent, and grounded in collective responsibility. When basic needs are met, the mind becomes free, education replaces survival, and knowledge creates the path to peace. Through participation and service, we express our true value. We are no longer competitors. We are contributors. Our technology now serves life. The scars of the old world are healed by the wisdom of the new. We are one people on one planet. moving toward one destiny. The shadows of the past have finally given way to the light. When we stop fighting ourselves, we begin to search the universe. Peace is the foundation. The stars are our destination. Our journey into the deep mysteries of existence has only just begun. We turn toward the stars with open hearts. Value begins with the human, grows through knowledge, and evolves toward an eternal peace.
Okay, we're back again at the 648th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, June 25th, 2026. So, as promised, this is the second part, and there will be an opportunity for questions. But before that, Mr. Kesh always, I would say, has something to say before beginning the questions. So please go ahead, Mr. Kesh.
I sent you a video. Check it. If
Yes.
show it. There is a copyright on it.
Okay, I can put it through YouTube and find out in a few minutes, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try that.
Thank you very much. See if it doesn't cause us any problem on a copyright. It's very important because this is another extension of the Keshe Foundation work. When it's announced, we can show. This is the second time publicly, openly, the technology is used. As many of you know, the ONNs are now in process of distribution amongst you knowledge seekers. What we would like to add to this, please support us in testing this system to the limit as you receive it, as our team works in the background to do. And try to use the system in the games and the conversion, if it's possible, that we can see how the conversion between the coins can take shape once the system running. Because then you come into the process of understanding and registration of it. We have to learn, correct our problems, and gradually build on the next step, next dimension of the work of the Keshe Foundation with the materials. Last week we launched what we call the new beat and the book. If any of you get it, please tell us how it feels when you read the book, when it's understood, and when you carry the beads with you in your hand. It's important for us to get a feedback that perfection can be part of the work. We're still searching for specialists in different aspects of the technology around the world. We need scientists who are specialized in water decontamination or water purification. We need specialists in building systems and the control. We need system controls both in mechanical and electronics. We need a vast number of people who understand our work to gradually start joining us. Very soon, to those of you who live in China, we will be open to the uses of the Keshe Foundation, what we call wellness products. We would like to have a feedback from you if you use it, that what it is, that we get a direct answer from you, direct results. We announce the first launch in the next 2, 3, 4 months, but we have to set up a structure that we know as knowledge seekers, you give us a pure indication of, as the process goes through validation through different hospitals and medical structure of the Keshe Foundation and the government. We need large number of people who are specialized in flight system. If you are a flight engineer, we need people to convert the technology knowledge into physical transportation to tell us about how the way to do it, that we can use it in our systems by setting up AIs for it in advance, that the control goes through the what we call energy field in the quantum way and not the matter state computers. We need a huge amount of support from the scientific world. Unless we bring people trying to teach and change their mind, where the knowledge seekers who have their specialty already understand the next step. If there are any questions, we try to answer, and we have to finish around about 11:30 today.
Mr. Keshe, that video has no copyright problems, so do you want me to play it now?
I think many knowledge seekers are looking forward to this. This information has been in the news, and now it's public. It was released more or less by Pentagon because they don't have an answer for it. We talked about this 2 or 3 days ago. The video has been made available, and now you understand Keshe Foundation work in the defense of Iranian territory. Go ahead.
News. A US F-15 fighter jet was reportedly shot down by an alien UFO. Yes, that's what a US F-15 fighter pilot is claiming. According to the pilot, the F-15 was carrying out its mission inside Iranian airspace when it was suddenly surrounded by a large swarm of drones. The drones were reportedly flying in a jellyfish-like formation, similar to the alien spacecraft often seen in movies. The pilot claimed that there were larger drones at the top and smaller drones beneath them, all flying in a specific pattern. He says all of this happened just as the fighter jet was shot down. There were 2 people on board the aircraft, the main pilot and a weapons officer. The pilot was rescued by US forces within hours, while a major rescue operation was launched to recover the weapons officer. According to reports, nearly 150 US fighter jets, military cargo aircraft, and dozens of helicopters took part in the operation. Iran, however, claims that it was responsible for shooting down the jet. But now, according to the F-15 pilot, the aircraft was actually brought down by an alien UFO. As many of you know, speculation about aliens and UFOs has existed in the United States for decades. Recently, the US government also released several documents related to UFOs, including a number of photographs. However, to this day, no country has presented verified proof that UFOs or extraterrestrial beings exist. Tell us in the comments, do you think the F-15 was shot down by an alien craft, or is this just another lame excuse from the United States?
We let the lame ducks to come up with an answer. Any questions?
Hey, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Let me see here. We have a hand up with Micah, or Mika, sorry. Please go ahead.
Greetings. Greetings, Mr. Keshe, Rick, Universal Council, and knowledge seekers. Mr. Keshe, you mentioned in one of your recent workshops that there is a significant amount of emotions that we are not yet aware of. I wondered if you could elaborate a bit on what those emotions are and their functions, if possible. Thank you. By the way, a very interesting video.
It is part of what it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The different field of strength creates different emotions, and we are not used to, we are not aware of, we've been filtered for certain field of strength that create a given emotion. We only access to it when we reach a point of maturity. We are very familiar with these kind of things, but we ignore it, we deny it, and this is the best way for us we ever done. The best example of it is, have you got a little girl? Or do you have a little boy at home? Or you remember when you were little? I'm gonna love you forever. I am the only one I love more than anything in my life. How many times your children have told you that? How many times you said that to your parents when you were little? Because that was a love of a child. Nothing could surpass it. You grew up, you became mature, and then you found emotion, you call it love, you fall in love with a guy, a girl, whatever. And now the promise you made to mom that I love you more than anything else in the world becomes the guy. Because you matured, you have come to understand a new emotion of the love. And that's exactly what's going to happen to you. When you mature in totality, the same body will understand new versions, new dimensions, new strength of love, maturity of different emotions of the same. But I warn you, there is another hidden part to this. That is, when a man matures and gets access to universal community, then measure the love you have for the universe, the love you have for the aliens you fall in love with. It's not just the UFOs, it comes from the top of Iran, unfortunately. But you will feel the same changes in the dimension of love, emotion you never knew. Because this time you cannot hold it, you cannot kiss it, you cannot touch it because it kills you, but both feel the same in love. And then you understand the devotion, the new dimension of the energy and fields, which is called love, much stronger the way you love the human. And then that process, it becomes the love of Creator. That emotion you don't know yet. Very few humans have reached that point. Very few. When they get touched by the love of the Creator, when they get touched by the love of its creation. So, you want me to explain what are the emotions? You had emotion of love as a child. You felt it when you became an adult love. And now you feel it when you become the love of the creation and the soul love. Nobody can judge. And there are many the same. It's the vision you see only in dimension of matter state. You don't see the vision in the energy state. Some of you do call it, I see aura. Then you have to create a new name for the vision of the energy, which man up to now called it an aura, because there was a physicality there. Now it becomes just a light bulb in the middle of nowhere. So there are many emotions we still have to learn. There are emotions that if you're explained, you have no understanding of. There's an emotion man will learn. You call it the emotion of touch. Physical confirmation. You'll find out that you cannot touch, but you're aware of existence. And then what do? You're so much in love, you feel it, gives you that timply dump in your heart. but you can't see it, you can't touch it. And what do? You go inside and you ask your soul, can you touch it for me? Can you let me feel it? And that becomes the point when you understand a new dimension which you don't even have it at this moment. Physicality can't touch it, but you're aware of its existence. And the only thing which touches it is the energy of the soul. This is the time when you confirm the existence of the soul, when the schizophrenic finishes and the reality of creation. I use you when I need, you use me when you need. Then you come to understand what we call universal touch. A lot of people think, oh, these aliens come and go, whatever, and we don't see them because you're touching them is danger to you and they can't hurt you. And there was another nice thing which recently came up. How come all the aliens only appear in America? How come only Americans capture aliens? And now the answer to it was the Russian released the aliens they captured. And these are the funny ones you've seen. The tall one walks with Mr. Trump. Of course, AI production. Now, emotions are many, but you have to mature. Yes, still that infancy love attached to the breast of the mum, which called the earth. You only know humans' emotions. Any other question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. We have some questions in the Q&A, so let me get those lined up here. Let me see. When we have a question from Marco Aurelio from the Brazilian community, and this was before we played this video, the last video. He's saying that given that Iran is far ahead in technology, why didn't this appear in Iran first instead of China? I think referring to the agricultural technology and other such things that are appearing in China.
We are running tests in Iran in agriculture. Iran agriculture, if you remember, 2-3 years ago, we even showed the wheat. Keshe Foundation has brought all his efforts into one point. Our target is building the space city, and we have to have a center. We tried with Mexico. We saw how the drug traffickers run into Keshe Foundation. We run in Africa. We saw how the ministers and the what you call Belgians run into us. We sit with the Chinese. You're safe. And our team now in 6 months has grown to very good numbers, and it'll increase to about 3,000 sometime in the next 12 months. Our target by the end of 2027 is 10,000 right across China. And we don't stand no threats. We stand a lot of activities, a lot of work. We have brought senior people in different sections of the Keshe Foundation and outside there, we're training them. And I told you, the first spin-offs was set. The first spin-off of the Keshe Foundation agriculture is set in Iran. And it's getting set up, it's getting started. But the same, we advertised the exhibition in Switzerland in October 23rd, 24th. And it was very funny. One of the French people said, 4 of us coming. I said, go and register. You have to pay us 4,000 to come and see you, but are not paying 4,000 to come there. You're quite welcome. It's not for you. This exhibition is for governments. This exhibition is not. We just gave the courtesy. If you want to see, that's what it is, because corporations will pay much more. This, the whole of the Keshe Foundation legal team, management team, is at port, is at in Zurich for bringing the technological breakthrough in Keshe Foundation, not for your visits. We don't need anyone to come and visit, and we don't pay nobody to come and visit. It's a privilege. You want to be, you want to see, and how you could be part of. That's the privilege you're given. We didn't ask you, pay us 1,000 so that we can start a conference, the exhibition. There's a lot of work going into it, and it's what we manage. And that's a pleasure of you turning up. Government decision makers, this is show off the technology at the highest. Tests are going on, and a lot of effort has been put in now already. A lot of tests is going through, a lot of other things going through to be ready. We are not waiting for your 1,000 euros to come in. You come in is your privilege to see what the world sees. This is, you cannot do anything for this. This exhibition is for governments to change the humanity, not for you to pay you to come in. It's one of the most fundamental exhibitions which touches every single one of you living in Europe. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, trying to save us, not pay us to come and see us. What a rubbish. This exhibition is set exclusively, and it started by the effort of one knowledge seeker, beautiful lady, brought it through her partner to us, and it was there, it rang the bell. We've done this with the Italian government. Now we went a step further, and this is purely, exclusively set for industry, bringing Keshe Foundation technology. Iranian ambassador to Zurich will be present. Chinese ambassador is invited. Swiss head of state is invited. All invitations are getting set. I already got the agreement for 2 governments. They'll send their ambassadors or second in command in ambassadors. This is a game changer to show the Keshe Foundation is not just cancer. This is a technology which can bring change. The top standard setting people who do the testing are getting invited to test at site. We just thought it'd be nice if knowledge seekers want to come in, and it costs a lot of money to put the boats on the water or get you into a restaurant and the rest of it. Don't get carried away with your little knowledge. Be there to support that knowledge gets to everyone. We don't expect more than a handful of knowledge seekers on Saturday. If you come in, you're quite welcome. We already passed quite a good figures, number of people will be there. This exhibition is not for public. This exhibition is science. If we do just look at, oh, you see, like when we gave the key, oh, they only give things to the government. This time we respected you and you misuse our respect. It's when you see what the government see. And the thing is, most of your knowledge seekers don't behave yourself to sit or come in and know how to handle the ministers. That's why you're not coming on Friday. These are sensitive government decisions. These are sensitive because we interfere directly with the government's work. And it all came out of knowledge seekers. We don't go there with just. Rasponi launched the first part, and with an insight from another knowledge seeker And somebody who saw not supposed to be a knowledge seeker and hates the Keshe Foundation brought it on the table, and it was opportunity. Voila. Even as I speak to you now, and you set up tests set up for this exhibition now on the table, meters away from me. And the test shows yes, bullseye. So this exhibition is for you to come and see the beauties of the knowledge. We could have done one day exhibition for governments, and then you would have had all your cries in 2015. He betrayed us, he's given the key to the governments in 2000. We don't get it. We cannot satisfy the human race, can we? But primarily, this is set for, and now with the data we received yesterday, second test is going through today, we confirm the correctness, and we can set up now directly into what we call realms of inviting industries, industrialists to come and see, and the governments change the course and what they do. It's not all going to happen on 22nd. They just come, it has to go to governments, they have to make a decision. The fruit of this exhibition will show itself in maybe 2 to 3 years. But it's the first time Keshe Foundation shows, and I said the next step will be in Africa. We show something unique in Africa. We're still looking for Iran to give us clearance for the Tehran, what we call Iran conference, to come into fruition after this 60 days over. And in Iran, we'll show, with the collaboration of Iranian officials and government and military, the beauty of the UFOs. Then an American pilot doesn't need to tell you. And don't forget, military and the governments will be invited the first time. Knowledge seekers have to pay to go in. Sorry about that. When you become arrogant, you see yourself as the center of the world, and that's what happened with most of the religions. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. Ike has a question in the Q&A. Says, in past teaching, I understood that the white portion of the eye as the pathway the soul leaves the body. But in today's teaching, you said that the black hole in the center of the eye is the pathway of the soul. Could you explain this further?
Listen to the last teaching, you go back to and listen to this teaching, you understand very clearly. You have the lymph, and lymph is colorless and works with the universal energies. It's energy. You have the same in the process of the conversion of the energies, which is cosmic rays into the matter state. Then you understand why you have the white, and then you understand why you have the black hole, and then you understand you have those gorgeous blue eyes. Or maybe brown. Somebody wrote me something very funny, one of the ladies. Mr. Keshe, you explained something last week. Did you have a Russian girlfriend? No. I worked with Russians like brothers and sisters in Siberia and the rest. The same as I do with you. And our friendship and work in Siberia and in Moscow is as close as you ever get a team working together. I was ordered by President Nazarbayev of Kazakhstan to be taken to a point in Siberia, northern Kazakhstan towards Siberia. And that time, talking about early 1990s, just beginning of the separation of the Russian Empire. We traveled in a convoy with military and everything else. To this point, we didn't know what it was. Only the driver knew where he was going, apparently. Somewhere around about midnight, we reached the water well. And he said, this is the reason Nazarbayev wants you to look at it. I said, what is this? Just the water? He said, no. We drilled holes. There's a number of holes not very far from here. And a constant temperature water, as 90 odd degrees, comes out. What can we do with this? Can you find a commercial point for it? I said, I'm an investor. You have to find put of water. Nowadays, people drink a lot of water. We sell it. So we got these 1.5, 2 liter bottles of Coca-Cola, which was in the back of the car traveling all day and the day before. I said, fill it up. We get it tested. Fill them up. Till 1 o'clock at night. The driver received a message. And I said, where are we going now? He says, oh, there is no hotels, nothing around here. We are going somewhere very special. Okay, the convoy moves. Military, God knows whatever. We end up in front of a big gate. I thought, oh, we're going to a palace, you know, they're keeping us because we always used to staying in presidential suites and everything else. They opened the place. They said, oh, bed has been made ready for you. You're sleeping in the head of the place in his house, in his room. So the head moves away. I go. I sleep in the bed. It's too late. We've been all on the way. And next morning, I get up to have a bath. The bath wall had more germs on it than I could ever seen on the floor. It was impossible. A quick shower, out. I went out. It was interesting. I saw a water well with a bell on it, like in a long shape, flower arrangement on the floor, and people going around and around and drinking from this water. Oh, breakfast is set. Okay, I sat. I thought, where am I? The head was there. There were hundreds of people in this compound. Hundreds. All in the same clothes, same shape. I knew I'm somewhere, but not really could pinpoint it. And the head of the guy came, table sat. I said, can I come in? He said, you are in the most remote asylum center in Russia, where all the political dissidents were sent here. He said, all these people you see marching are professors, doctors, whatever they are. But they didn't agree the communist regime, so we kept them here. Now we can't leave them outside. And the water mole is something, that's the only thing they can get from this water. They get everything. We don't have money to look after them. They just the water, more or less. They're all skinny. It was seeing the German camps, but in a better way. In that trip, I got to know a Russian doctor. And that's how I know the skin color. Explaining. And then one day a girl turned up in one of my offices in Manchester. And my secretary says, there's a Russian woman in one of the warehouses. They come to buy everything, whatever they want. What are they doing here? Why are they in the warehouses? We had 10,000 square meter. Well, you see, Amazon today, it was a gameplay. And I went, curiosity, I went on the floor. And got to know the lady. Very close friendship. She was a doctor. She, in the revolution, she lost her wages, nothing. She became a prostitute. And then she, being a doctor, with one of the clients, they set up a business in import-export. And that's how I got to know the Russian version of it. We don't sleep around. We get to know people. So ladies, don't write me these things. I know exactly what I'm talking about because of the experience being correct. And you will understand a lot of things. It's not just the Keshe Foundation. I lived this kind of lives. I lived with world leaders, working with governments from age of 20 to 23. I worked with a South African Bhutto family at the age of 22, 23 when it was apartheid. I became the Rasi of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Just being a nuclear physicist, being correct in what I did, and the reputation was there. Work with British government closely at the highest level, directly with the Prime Ministers for cases. And in this environment, they just make a call. They take a reference. They don't wait for Belgium to dismantle you with lies. And those friends are still friends. I still work with their children. I still run close relationship with the world leaders. A lot of them with their children that the father is not there, but I was trustee to bring them up, to teach them. My life in this level is, that's why I don't get carried away. I live this life even from childhood. The family I was brought up in Iran. We were taught you are no more as anybody else. Live amongst people, not even your family should know who you are, what you are. And this is the way I always lived. I always knew, never do wrong. Ethos of Zardusht was with me, and it stays with me. Unless you do wrong to me, I don't do any wrong. I just change my line. I take a different path. I don't go and harm you. My first wife tried, my second wife tried, and I never said anything. I just changed my direction, took my new life, because I knew that life has come to an end. I could confront, I could destroy. What's the use? Just silently take my path out. Fighting takes energy. Loving is much easier. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. A question in our Q&A from anonymous attendee. Says, good morning, Mr. Keshe. How to integrate matter-made color and frequency into the plasma work?
They don't mix so easily. You see this when you produce nitrogen. I was talking to one of the heads of Keshe Foundation this morning, early this morning, long before we start teaching, and other people who work with us. If you manage to produce nitrogen, nitrogen gives that to you. And this is why the color of our eye changes and fixes something. It's a nitrogen orientation. One day science will understand. All our colors. Why our eyes turn blue. Why our planet is blue. Because of the nitrogen. But they just say impigmentation. But the only impigmentation which changes the color in your eyes, in the gaseous state of your vacuum body, is nitrogen. If you twist the nitrogen in a slightly direction, you become green. Because when we produce nitrogen amino acid, it's colorless till the light shines on it, and then we see the whole spectrum of colors, and you see all the colors of the man on the surface. I looked at the video very recently because I had to do something else with it. And this is, you cannot create colors of matter state in the plasma state. Looks same, but it has energy. It's a color with the energy and a color with solid. That's what what we call matter state color is. And the beauty with the color with energy, it doesn't hold its color. Depends what energy is around it, it changes its color for the manifestation. How many of you made ganses and you left it green and the next day was brown and the day after it became black? That doesn't happen when you mix the color in the color pot. It stays that color 20 years, open the box, it's still the same. This is the difference. And you have seen it, but because you don't pay attention, you don't understand the concept, it's very difficult. Then you understand cosmic ray energy colors are dynamic because they react with what they receive. You go to a paint shop, say I want a pink color, now it's automatic, two drop of this, one drop of that gives you this color. You two drop of the gans of this, one drop of gans of this, put in glass, today is green, tomorrow is blue, and then the day after different blue. The colors of cosmic ray carry energy, which the solid matter doesn't carry. And that creates different orientation. 99% of you, when you look at the cosmic ray energy, what we call colors, will fight with each other. This is blue, now it's green, I see, because the spectrum of the energy of the gases of your soul or your vision matches with the plasma. We have that ability to see that color on the range of the power, what you call it, the energy. And we see the other ones in the matter state. That's all. Get yourself a paint, bottle of paint, put it in a glass and add 2 pink on it or a red on it, and do the same with a glass of ganses and drop another gans into it and see how the color changes, and put another gans cup next to it and see how many changes. You put 10 different buckets of the colors of the matter state next to each other, they stay that color as long as the cows come home. In the matter energy, cosmic ray energy, you see they keep on changing. I give you this, and that gives you different rotation, but it's the same, what we call gas material base. Any other question?
Well, we've got a hand up here. So, Dean, would you like to go ahead, please?
Thank you, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Kesh. I have a quick question. Hi,
Do you
Mr. Kesh.
do you know what your name means in Farsi?
I don't think I'll. Is it? Do I need to know?
It means religion.
Really? Really?
What's your religion?
No, really.
Okay, yeah, sounds
Okay.
exactly the same. Carry on.
Mr. Kesh, so one question would be, you were speaking about the pupil of the eye, and you talked about the eye, and would the eye, I know the pupil you said that stays black, so that's a black hole, that is a dimension that, as you say, you can travel through to the soul in. I kind of understand that. So the color of the eye, can that change instantly? Because through my life, I've met a few people that have managed to, it seems to me through my physical eye, that they seem to be able to change the color of their eye. Is this a possibility?
The hazel eyes have that possibility, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the mixture of two colors, and depends which pigmentation or which energy is done. And yes, with those kind of people who have a streak of blue and a streak of green creating hazel, they have a streak of brown, especially, they can do that. And it's like, they say gray, blue, anything you wear reflects in your eye. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah,
They
the
create
reason I asked
different
that,
energy. They create different energy.
yeah, that's what I
They
was going to
do
ask.
that.
Yeah.
This is, women are better than the men in this because they carry the hormone side. The hormone in women does amazing things if you know how to play with it. The hormone is not just that you have to have a child or you have God knows menstruation. The hormone, if some women learn how to change their hormone, you can change your smell, you can change your taste, you can change. Men can't do it so easily. This race of multitasking goes too deep. And some of them, yes, can change their color by through a stress or through changes in emotion. You're not the only one. I've seen a few.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So leading on from that, Mr. Kesh, so would there be any possibilities from this interaction of the emotions that interact with the flashing color of the eye or those sort of things? Could that lead to emotions that people receive in their bodies that create all sorts of other conditions that bring, about diseases or other things, other conditions from, so it's interacting without them even realizing.
Have you ever said, I hope you've done that, in front of somebody looking eye to eye, but don't look at the eye, look at the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Then you tell me how much they change you and how much you change them. And how the emotion changes.
For sure.
Yeah, try, because when you look eye to eye, they receive the feedback from the energy from your soul, from you. So souls get in touch, not the physicality, just look. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens as part of the structure.
I've having been part of this process of a little bit of understanding that I have. I've felt and experienced some of those things that you've spoken about earlier very deeply, and then I met other things happen in your life, and you move away from it, but you keep coming back to the same position and the same feelings, and everything comes back. It's like you was talking about the soul always guides you back. And no matter how much I, wrongdoing I do and go and do other things and create mayhem with whatever, it always leads you back to a position, and it keeps bringing me back time and time again to you. So yeah, it's something I have to understand.
You have an amazing name, Dean Lloyd Bucket.
Yeah.
Lloyd is the most famous shoe brand of United Kingdom.
Okay.
Where did you get that one from?
Yeah. I don't know.
If you really wear true British shoes, it's Lloyd is the brand.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I hope you know. I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
And I call it shoes with religion. It sounds funny, but it is. Yeah, but you have to understand the life of man is dictated partially by his physicality, but totally by his soul. And we keep on denying it because the slave drags on back of the bus. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I wonder, how humble is our soul that accepts all this rubbish from his physical partner? Bash him on the head, come on, guy, do what I say. Sits there patiently, says, you do your job till you learn, I'm here.
This is the thing, Mr. Kesh. I've been with the foundation, with yourself, and many knowledge seekers, many beautiful knowledge seekers, and you learn some informations and you experience it. and you guys are so patient and so gentle that it embeds itself. It becomes part of you, and there's never and this is the strangest thing for humanity to understand. There's never a judgment. It's always allowed to be, and you seem to move us into positions and give as much as possible to the understanding of the person or the being, and then you enhance and you grow, and then sometimes you retract, and this field strength changes constantly. It's like the field to the soul is a never-ending interaction of whatever you want to call it, rays, cosmic rays, field strength.
When you understand you're nothing but just a tool, what's the use of hammering to the other boss?
Yeah, pointless. Yeah, exactly.
This is what I explained with our friends.
Mm-hmm.
We don't pay to come to your exhibition. You pay us to see us. If you see yourself that high, understood. But we are humble. We take your most beautiful knowledge to the nations. And if humbleness is the key to being able to share, what we show in this exhibition is game changer for a lot of people around the world. And I chose this deliberately because it touches the essence of life. There is a reason you have that drop. That drop carries life from the universe conversion. That's the lymph of the world and the things which live in it. And we are humbled to bring such a advanced technology to share directly with the governments. We don't sign no disclosures, And then we have to pay to meet people. It's amazing. We never paid to meet the Pope. And we never paid with the world leaders and paid them. A few years ago, I was traveling to one of the cities and one of the knowledge seekers was with me. I couldn't stop the process, so it was no intention of stopping. It was part of meeting friends. And I invited the friend for dinner in my suite. And received a call from downstairs, the hotel is shut down. Can we come upstairs? I said, why? He says, your friend has arrived. And I had to ask Knowledge to sit with me for dinner because we are friends. We are old friends with each other. And he came with a foreign minister and secretary of state, plus himself. There was 5 of us having a dinner together. And Knowledge seeker sat across, lost. And after they left, they closed the hotel because the foreign minister of country and the officials were in the hotel. The words came, how come you're connected to these people and nobody in foundation knows? And part of the discussion on the table, dinner table, was the foreign secretary becomes the next president of the government and what the Keshe Foundation can do for him. I said, we don't interfere with the politics. We said this thing support people who support our aims for peace and sharing the what we call technology. And I was told that you should bring these in public. People should see. I said, people should not see. They don't understand how much it takes to work. We are used to eating, sitting, talking to world leaders. It's part of the work has been for 50 years. But knowledge seekers have to learn to be humble. And coincidentally, it happened that the person was sitting on the dinner table, and you know when you have these kind of things, it's a silver service, you know, everything is served and food, that whole hotel was shut down for it. And we are used to these things, and you have to be humble. You have to be humble. And it's the same. All knowledge seekers are the same. We are millionaires, we are poor, we eat off the same table, we talk the same language, and we look beyond the world of money. We look beyond the world of power. And the more you become deeper in this technology, understanding the effect of it, the humbler you have to become. You have no choice, but otherwise the arrogance will kill you. You destroy yourself by looking in your world. And I've been told so many times, you're the most arrogant person. I said, no, to you I'm arrogant, but I live a life which should be left. Don't go out to harm no one. Don't go out don't even think to damage anyone. And don't act to damage. It's there. It happens. It means it's time for it. And if it doesn't happen, it means it's not there to do. But the only thing you can do is those who harm you or bring you pain or in any shape, any, whatever you call it, lack of trust or loss of trust, is just say, I'll let the souls sort it out. And usually they pay back for it. They usually pay back for it. You don't need, you just leave it to the souls and they'll come back. That's all you need to do if you're a true knowledge seeker.
Thank you for that wisdom, Mr. Cash. I think I understand what you're saying. I know some of these things, but I understand what you're saying. And the the emotion of it. It's the fact that what I would love people to understand, if anybody that's listening from any position across the planet, anybody, and particularly people that are believe themselves to be in a certain position lower down in society, or whatever position you believe you are, to understand. Mr. Kesh is a quite incredible soul that, you know,
No, you see, we live
Mr.
by
Kesh
the
to
law of the
try to-
universe. This is let me explain to you something. I'll give you an example. Many of you, as knowledge seekers, were witness to it.
Mhm.
Now it's past nearly 6-7 years. We talked about the history of the Keshe Foundation. Many of you attended the second conference in Rome. My ex-wife disappeared in hotel rooms. Nobody could find her. We went to the level of Interpol to find out where she is. Then that day became the basis for divorce 3 years later. And the following act. I didn't come out and shout. I didn't stop the conference. I just took everything into myself. I changed the course. If you remember all these lovey-dovey things, said you played your game. My divorce papers, my separation was written in the Rome conference. When a partner disappears in bedroom with somebody else, that's the end of the relationship. Even the Italian police was concerned about kidnapping, but they kidnapped their own lives. I didn't stop the conference. I didn't make a commotion of it. The only thing human knowledge heard, the second heard, was 4 years later that I separated. I chose my life. I chose where I'm going to go. And I took my time, 4 years, to find a path which I can live a perfect life. Never been unfaithful, never looked at any other woman in my marriage till that day. From that day, First divorce is just a matter of when it happens because it was separated. I've learned in my life, my problems are mine. You can talk about the history, but you don't talk about the present. Because present, you can make a decision with what you talk wrong. My divorce, my separation was written in wrong conference. Giovanni was looking everywhere. The police was looking everywhere. When she was found out coming down the escalator. We don't do wrong. We don't go out doing wrong, but there's no use fighting it. You just take your gift of loving to somewhere else, because if you love somebody, you don't make a mistake. Doesn't matter what the other knowledge is. Oh, this, but you'll see the result of my change of life in 2020, because I took 4 years to move on without any problem. And I didn't fight when I separated. You all know there was a corona. We were locked, literally locked in the island of Malta. No flight, nobody could go or come. The first private flight out of Malta airport, 22nd of June, was my flight taking me out. We were the only and the first flight left the island of Malta from January till June, when everything was locked down. I still stayed. Nothing happened. I took a different path. I searched to find someone I can live with and I don't get no betrays, no damages. I had 2 of them. You solve the problem inside, and you solve with dignity. My divorce papers were written in the hotel room in Rome, where nobody can explain why and where and who they've been with. The rest of what you see is already 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line, which came public. That's how a man should be. Man solves his own problem in his own dimension with grace, with calmness, and what we call integrity. And that's how knowledge seekers are. We have a problem, we create a problem, we solve the problem in understanding how, where, and who, and when. Keshe Foundation is an ocean of problems. It's not a river. And if you become that ship that you always hop up and down to just survive, you bring the whole thing down. You have to be that calm boat, just above the storm. And this is the behavior of the Lord. When you live like this, you don't make mistakes.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. Thank you very much for the words. And it's that ethos that you install, excuse me, you install in all the knowledge seekers. I think we all experience this, and we come to love you for that ethos that you install within us. And
we are all the same part. It's just how we handle our situation. It's just how we were trained. And my best trainer was my father from a very young age. And the biggest trainer for me to understand how to control emotion is the most beautiful woman in my life, my mother. Nobody should know who you are, where you come from, where you been, who you seen, what you do. And this was drummed in our ear from a very, very young age. And we were tested for it. It wasn't just teaching. My mom taught, my father tested. And this became part of learning, that you keep everything inside. You don't need to defend. But nobody should know. I realized my test when I was 8, 9 years old. And my father, when they came to me, he was in building houses or whatever. He said there is a shortage of cement, and on the way to school, there's a cement depot. If you're in Iran, you know what I'm talking about. Or it was this before cement in depot. He gave me something like most would be 5,000 or 10,000 today. He said, take this, on the way you pay, they deliver. And I was going to school 8 o'clock in the morning. So for me, it wasn't a test. For me was how can be correct to my father. The money was in the bag, a school bag. I went to school as normal, threw the bag in the corner, played football, picked the bag up, home. I come home. The first thing my father asked me more or less, did you tell anybody? I said, no, you told me not to talk on nobody's business what I carry in my school bag. And the next time was bigger sum. And he brought me up to, it doesn't matter what I carry in my pocket, a million or a penny, it's for me to know. What carries suffering or pain or joy is for me to know. I share with those who are there to share with, are part of it. And then this became the running of a multi-billion organization and now the Keshe Foundation. Nobody knows what we carry. Nobody knows where we go. And this time is for humanity. No government can buy the Keshe Foundation. Nobody can buy. No government can sell the Keshe Foundation. And it stays on his own ethos. My father was my biggest tester. And I was put through training from 8, 9 years old. We went to the family meeting. The richest people in Iran, all cousins and uncles and grandfather, we come home as we just been down the park walking, nobody knows. In his training, and one trains itself, nobody else can.
Yeah, that training, Mr. Kesh, that's a process that you sense when you become part of or even touch part of the foundation. You feel the sense of it, and the teachers and the knowledge seekers that are present, the way that they express themselves and gently enhance your life, our lives.
It is.
Both physically and emotionally, but it's both. They touch the physical and the emotion in such a beautiful way that it installs this ethos and this, what you've directly just explained, what came through your father, is then it's being sort of like gifted down through everyone that you touch and meet, and it's that effect that we always know. You know, as soon as you do good, think good, and act good, you become it, and then by becoming it, you pass it on. And it's that gift, it's that universal knowledge, and that beauty of being part of it, because we're all part of the same thing through the pupil of the eye and the physicality, right through to the field strength of the Creator, and that loving, warm embrace of being present.
You, as knowledge seekers, you have to learn to always stay loyal, faithful to what you believe in. Nobody can shake you. Doesn't matter what. And nobody should know. I had experience This Saturday I was with a knowledge seeker. We drove somewhere. And as I said goodbye, I sat in the car, I received a telephone call. And I was in that spot for nearly an hour, walking because it was too hot. The call was from literally the president of a nation, trying to convince me of something or the other. I was talking to the people who govern the nation. And I explained this to a knowledge seeker yesterday, what happened. And to me, it was so amazing. 1 second, you're there to be a friend, to stand next to someone, and you just get in the car, a call comes from people who run a nation, asking for advice on what do we do. I was walking in the heat for about an hour, and where I was standing, I said, if these people hear what I'm talking about, God knows what they're going to do with me. But you can't refuse a head of a nation, head of governors of a country, a telephone call. One day you're as humble as being with someone, and next minute you were sitting or talking or run decision-making of a nation. It's all the same. Doesn't make any difference. This is the Keshe Foundation 24 hours a day. And with everyone, you have to stay humble. And if you knowledge seekers learn to do this, you have walked half of the way towards universal community. Any other question?
Thank you for your beauty, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for taking my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on our Q&A here, let's see, we have another hand up too, but before the hand, a technical question about the game. Is there an address or a website where I can get answers to questions about the game or resolve technical issues?
Yes, we're sorting that out. We're trying to sort that out. Just be patient. The whole structure is so involved. It's getting sorted, so involved. Yes, we gradually, in time, just give us a few more weeks. The biggest problem was to get the first ONNs out, which now the first 4 or 8 completed. And they're on the way, or they're on the way to structure to be received by the knowledge seekers. Then we test. All these things need to be tested on these things. And then we go to the 28th, by next month or so. And then all these teething will be sorted. Just be patient. It's a huge burden, and it's all on the shoulder of one man. And everybody else trying to scrape in and trying to help to get bits by bits of it is getting done. This is not a thing to split around with people and be safe with it. And there's a lot of pressure to get it done the right way. And it's like everything else, we have the expertise there. They know what they're doing. We just observe and do what they ask to create that facility and systematic work of it. And today you saw the first video. There's going to be a series of these videos. As now that the ONNs are released, we prepare you for what to come. We test you, we test the systems, and somewhere by hopefully September, October, we start releasing, or before end of this year, the first coins to universities, to knowledge seekers, to other people who we set up to test in the small amounts, the breakages, the hacking, what it is, and the slowly, yes. It's a very, very long process, and there is no rush for it. It's got thousands of years to go.
Mr. Keshe, sorry, it's Dean again. May I just quickly ask you a question about the ONNs? So what for most people, will they understand what they are really capable of doing? What
The-
what is the what do they really, you know, in a physical form and in emotional form, what fields, what are they actually interacting with, and what are they going to do?
At the moment, you're interacting with a physical machine that we set up the mechanism. Then once the antennas come, we move to the next phase. The antennas should be mass produced sometime. Once they tell us the mechanical side, the internet side is completed, the power supply for the system to be independent is already going through tests, which means it doesn't need any supply. So you can be anywhere connected with the unit you have. Then comes the connection that you don't need no internet. Then comes the transfer of energy across the net. And the transfer of energy is not the data, it's emotion, it's food, it's medicine. And this should be somewhere in full swing, somewhere maybe middle of next year, this time next year. The owners took a year to get the first one out. I have to tell you this 8 is not the original 8 because a number of units have been moved around. They're operating for weeks and weeks, sitting, getting tested, finding the faults. Now, most of those pitfalls have been found out. It's been more or less resolved. Now it's time to get in a bigger dimension, and then next step. And then when they tell us yes, the network works, the system is set up, then we add the cosmic ray section to it that you start transmitting, and then you literally become beacons of what do you call it, light or energy or transfer right across this planet. I have asked one of the what we call naval forces to join us to think about 100 of these around the oceans, the deepest part. These things has to be done by military. Civilians don't have these facilities. A number of ordnance will be, once it's completed, they'll be sunk in the deepest ocean of this planet. And at the same time, they'll be taking the highest mountains on this planet. Is what the Earth did not give us, we recover to bring humanity to peace. And is needed.
Well, Mr. Cash, you showed earlier, so I have a question for you. So you showed a position earlier in the video of a spaceship, you know, a UFO, whatever you want to call it, that was in a position that it took down a fighter jet that was positioned to destroy.
This is not what we call it. This is what an American pilot, one of the experts, the top pilots in the world, has confirmed to his government and in public. There is no speculation. This comes directly from the pilot itself. And it's so important for Pentagon to tell that Iran has a UFO. You have to read what's behind it. And if you've seen President Trump in past days or so has announced that they are starting the quantum technology, which is very, very advanced. Quantum energy, one technology was created by a Chinese knowledge seeker working, trying to sell the technology to another guy and change the GAN's technology to quantum, not to give it to Keshe Foundation. And the guy who actually tried to sell it to Chinese military got arrested. So when you hear a quantum energy, quantum technology, it's Keshe Foundation and done by the Chinese knowledge seeker who's disappeared. We don't hear him from him anymore. It was the voice of Keshe Foundation in China.
Mr. Kesh, can I just quickly say, so my question was going to be that once these ONNs are placed, then maybe the Pentagon will have more issues, because the thought of the knowledge seekers, the souls that are in peace, will be able to create these craft with a thought, and they're peaceful, so they cannot be, they will not defend. They will just have a field strength that will stop these tendencies to want to destroy everything. So
you see, the only way is these military governments are only after power, and we work on opposite to equality. And this time is not just feeding or creating medicine or comfort. In the disguise of the ONNs and the systems which we developed, we nourish the soul. What is missing? You see, when a soul accepts a body and it stays in the condition of a body as it is now, it means he has to tolerate a lot of things, because in ways it needs it to reach to the strength that it can separate. It's ready to be planted somewhere else. And so the government drones or using the Keshe Foundation technology is all end up in a matter of state, where literally your one ends is the elevation of the soul. You'll find out soon, because we transmit on the plasma strength. We don't transmit on radio frequency. Simple as that. You can buy a telephone now in China and speak in London with it. You don't need no subscription, nothing. These are available for years, and now they're trying to say. In 1991, 92, as I told you, I used to work in Russia extensively. I was taken by the Russian military to a military base. It wasn't even a base, it was on the top of the desert. Underneath was a space city. And I was so close with these guys, talking 40 years ago. They gave me a telephone. They gave me a system. They said, you don't need to go through no system. You want to talk to us, this is the line. I brought this system to England. I left the phone in Manchester and I went to London. I could speak to my wife at home 40 years ago. Needed no number, nothing. This technology is not new. Not paying the telephone companies is not new. Then the British Telecom found out I have such a system. They came to me and says, can you hand over this unit? I said, no, I'm not interfering with your system. I had a number of meetings with MI5. I sat with the office of the Prime Minister. We want this unit. We know the Russians. You brought it with you. I said, I was given in trust. So what now they claim we can speak from Beijing to London. Russian had it 40 years ago. Doesn't need no telephone number, doesn't need no satellite. It's just they slave people with these telephones and satellites to make money. Technologies, we are not going anywhere else. The only thing we're changing is we changing a motion of the sound into the motion of emotion. Well, this is a break, and you can only do it if you understand cosmic ray technology and gas technology. We're not claiming I had this battle with British Telecom for months. The only agreement was I met with the Russian ambassador, Mrs. Mehran, return it back to Moscow. They gave me like a small telescope, about 20 centimeters, 30 centimeters, in a white box. This This telescope was in my hand yesterday, and I just brought back so much memories. I brought this telescope. I can see literally the surface of the moon clearly. Handheld, it opens up, you adjust a little thing, and now you can't tell people 40 years ago Russians gave you this thing. I have a very good close connection with Russian military and space, and these were gifts showing me look how advanced we are. And this small telescope was in my hand yesterday. Next time when we develop such a thing, we'll have a soul. We see the existence of the soul on the moon. We feel the emotion of the planet. That's the difference. One looks at the physicality and one looks at the other side. Yesterday was one of the most joyful parts of my life for a long, long time. We could not locate, we could not find all the manuscripts, all the books, all the papers, manuscript, the original, with all the mistakes is corrected and everything else. And yesterday we located it. It took a long time and totally by accident. So all the, what we call, every history of all the patents, original patents, manuscripts, first copies, first prints, is all in our hand now. And it's locked away safe for the last time. And the whole, and the creation of the black hole manuscripts, the first books, second book, all corrections, line by line, editing, the first copy hard version, simulation, everything now is back of hand. It's literally is in our hand. And they've been put away safe. And it's all happened yesterday. And this telescope was with it. And the other technology is much more. The only thing is we bring the sense of life to adding to the physical knowledge of the man. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Cash.
Thank you.
I know you have to leave soon, Mr. Cash, but we have a Mothirjan here with a hand up. Perhaps he can address that question. Hello?
Hello, hi, Mr. Cash.
Hey, we received your email. At the moment, I don't have time. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 weeks, the office will answer you.
Okay, Mr.
Okay, it's as I told you even yesterday, I stood, God knows, 8-10 hours in the heat of 40 degrees trying to sort things out. We are fully booked for next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And there's a lot of things happening. I started at 6 o'clock this morning, or earlier. And yesterday I was working till 3 o'clock in the morning. I just get 2 or 3 hours, but there's something we're committed to complete, has to be done, and then there are other bits to be done. And we come back to you. We know what you're talking about, but the best advice to your people, who you're talking about, is to meet us at our Chinese headquarters to see us. But we'll talk to you when we are ready. When we have time, it's not ready. Literally, there's 24 hours and I work 20 hours of the day.
Can you meet anyone from Case Foundation team?
No, these things handled personally by me. If your person or what you say has to be handled correctly.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, I've got to go. Sorry about this. This is some more work needs to be done, completed this week. And we're still losing. If you're a specialist in any field of science, let us know, and we most probably have a place for you to join us to do. Thank you very much for today, and hopefully see you next week.
Can you take Jalal's before you go, perhaps?
Oh, him, yeah. With how many questions?
Maybe he has answers
No
today.
questions, no.
Hi,
Hi,
Jalal. How
Mr.
are you?
Hello.
How are you keeping?
Long time, Mr. Cash. No,
You are
speaking.
busy. We are always available.
Yeah.
Jalal, do you want to join us in China?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I told you before, how many years now? 8, 9? I already sorted my package.
Talk to me, because there is something you are connected to. I'll explain, maybe private. Join us in China. Alex will join us very soon.
Then I will join. No problem.
I've just got to sort out Alex in the next few weeks. I can't go in without actually being 100% solid in this place. We are bringing the intuition people into Keshe Foundation. They can see. Alex is back from Nigeria in London. In the next few weeks, once I sort everything out, I'll move him to China, because he sees things. I love working with Alex. It's just a joy. And I would like to invite you as a guest of Keshe Foundation to join us in China in the next few weeks. You will lot look at technology and look at it a different way than the others. It'll be a pleasure to have you there. Now ask your question.
There's no question, Mr. Cash. I just wanted to say hello.
Now hello got you into problem, isn't it?
Yeah, me and my big mouth. Always.
No, it's just that it's there. You knowledge seekers are the backbone of the work of the foundation. We have worked many years. We need to do a lot of things. The education side, the other side, you work with ECMA in the background. We need to bring a set of people in that they can do the work.
I was running away from you a long time ago. Now you captured me again.
No, who contacted you again?
You captured me again.
You should have come here. No, because you lot carry deep knowledge. I love to bring people who have that kind of background. Now we're in a position to do. You're one of them, Alex. We run it. I asked another knowledge seeker who's been with us a long time. He says he can do remote. And all the people who have the expertise we don't bring time wasters. We know exactly who fits where. And we're building a beautiful, solid team in China. And it'll be, even if you can help or be with us for a short time to see what it is and do it remote from where you are, is good enough. Number of knowledge seekers work this way. We have a number of knowledge seekers who work remote with us.
My pleasure, Mr. Cash, to serve you.
Thank you. Let me organize it, and the operators on the Chinese side will get in touch, and then we organize it.
Yes, Mr. Cash.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. See you next week, and hopefully we'll see what we can do.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, if anyone has questions left over, there's a few in the Q&A. You can keep them till next week and get them in earlier, and perhaps they'll be answered. That brings to a close our today's 648th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, June 25th. And thank you all for attending and being here to experience another Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Let me see, let me check my calendar here for the next public teaching, which will be on the last day of June, June 30th, which is Tuesday, will be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace, and with members and support members of the Universal Council. That program starts at 4 p.m. Central European Summer Time on the same channel as we're on now. And Again, June 30th, Tuesday, June 30th. All right. Okay, I've got a thing from Lissy to be read as well. Let me get that organized here. I have it somewhere on my buried desktop. There it is. Okay, it's a message from the Universal Council through Lissy. And I'll read it. It goes, we, the Universal Council, invite the Kesh and Universal family present on the earth in unifying at the soul level every time, every day at 9 p.m. Central European Time. We, the Universal Council, give from our souls and invite all of humanity to elevate the soul of every leader in every nation to work as one soul in one direction to achieve peace as one nation, one planet, one race. Okay, thank you for that, Lissy. Okay, our background image today is from the agricultural video, the latest one from about using drones to work in agriculture in China. All right, well, thank you everyone once again for being here today. And that'll complete today's program. And we'll go out with our usual manner with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit. Bye for now.